Hey guys, welcome back to the vlog. Today was a very good day for poker in the Sacramento area. As I told you last time, the casinos in the Sacramento area have been okay to open up. So first day back, we went to Capital Casino and played a little 1-3. They also had a pretty good 2-5-10 game there. Too big for my bankroll right now, but the action looked intense. Anyway, we jumped in the 1-3 game and we ran good. Like and subscribe if you want. I appreciate your support. All right, we're at Capital Casino. Buy-in for 300 in the 1-3 game. It's been a round or two, and I'm in the big blind here with 5-4 hearts. First person limps, next person raises to 11. We get two callers, so I call with my 5-4, and we go 5 ways to the flop. Flop is 10-6 deuce with one heart. Person on my left bets for 12. We end up getting two callers for the 12, so I go ahead and take one off, hoping to catch a 3 or make a backdoor flush draw here. So I close the action with my call. We have 103 in the pot, and we go to see a turn card. Turn card is a 5 of spades. Not what we're looking for. I check it, and the person to my left now bets 55. He has one player that ends up calling him, who's all in for less. And I just have to fold here. It turns out that the person on my left had 5-6 of clubs, and he fills up on the river and takes down the pot. I'm in the small blind with 3s. We get a couple limpers, and then the person on the button raises to 12. I decided to set mine here with my 3s, so I call, and the other limpers also call. So we go 4 ways to the flop, which is King 9-9. So we completely miss here. We check, it gets checked around to the button, and he puts out a bet, and everybody quickly folds. So in this particular hand, we had 2 limps in front of the cutoff, who puts in a raise to 26. Comes back around to me in the big blind, and I look down at ace-king offsuit. I'm definitely going to be 3-betting here. I decided to size to 86, put the pressure on him. He's been a little bit splashy and playing very aggressively. So he calls. I don't really put him on a premium hand here. So with 182 in the pot, heads up, we see a flop of King 3-4 with 2 clubs. I decide to bet 1/3 pot. He instantly raises all in. He has me covered. I'm going to call here all day long, especially with his playing style. He shows 1 king. The run out comes 6 of clubs, queen of hearts, and then he shows King 9 offsuit. So I take it down with ace king. This is definitely the most interesting hand of the day. To set this up, I'm under the gun with 2 queens and open to a raise to 15. It gets folded around the cutoff, who is a good thinking recreational player, and he puts in the call. The person on the button, who is an aggressive player, also puts in the call for 15, and it gets folded back around. So 3 players are seeing the flop, and the flop comes Queen 5-4 rainbow. So I smash this. And this is where things start to go bad. Me checking this hand is a huge mistake in my mind after thinking about this for a while, and I'll explain to you afterwards why. My thoughts at the time was that I had such a lock on this type of flop that I didn't think anyone could have too much, and with the aggressive player on the button, I figured if it was checked to him, he would definitely take a stab at it with air. Anyway, the person in the cutoff ends up putting in a bet for $30, which is 2/3 pot. The button folds and it comes back to me, and I feel like I have only one thing to do here, is just to call. check raise would look way too strong. If he has air, I expect him to fire. If he has a set of 5s or 4s which are in his range, I expect him to fire. Turn card is a 7, river card's a 9, and he ends up showing ace queen, checking back top. So I spent all day thinking about this one hand, and what I determined was that by checking on the flop and calling a 2/3 pot bet, my hand became face up. My opponent, who is a thinking player, figured out that if I was to check call on that flop after being the aggressor pre-flop, that I have some sort of monster. And to his credit, he played it perfectly, and I played it horribly. And I thought to myself, how should I have played this? What was the best way to not only disguise the strength of my hand, but to also get action on my hand at the same time? Now, granted, against most 1-3 players, 99% of them are going to go ahead and bet top, and they're going to value own themselves, and I'll be able to get a check raise in either on the turn or the river. But I aspire to be a better player and to play in the bigger games. And in the bigger games, you can't get away with playing your hand face up. They're going to see right through you, just like this one player did to me. So by checking this set on the flop, I've committed many errors in one motion. One of which is to play too passively. I want to be an aggressive player. Another is to give off too much information with a check call on any kind of reasonable bet. It also weakens my c-betting range. So instead of checking it and trying to trap somebody, let's imagine that I led out for the standard continuation bet of, say, $15 to $20. Anyone with any kind of piece of that might make the second best hand, say pocket 8s or 9s or something like that, is probably going to put in a call for the small continuation bet. Even if they have a hand like, a pair of 5s or a pair of 4s, and, they would be calling too. Maybe even get someone playing back at you. But the important factor is you don't give away any inkling of the strength of your hand. Only thing they know is that you're a pre-flop aggressor and you c-bet. They don't know whether you're c-betting with a made hand, a missed hand, some sort of draw. It's everything in your range that you had pre-flop. In this particular case, if I led for 15, I imagine that the person with ace queen would definitely call. They would probably put in a raise to protect or to force out the button player and get it heads up. If that happened, definitely I'm going to be winning a lot more on this hand than trying to be a trappy player and trap him with maybe 1 bet or 2 bets. Let me know your thoughts on this hand, how you would play it, whether you agree with my analysis afterwards. I really respect a lot of your feedback and ideas, so please don't be shy. We get a limper, and I am in the low jack next to act. I raise to 17. We end up getting 4 callers for the 17. So 68 in, we see a flop of 3 jack 3. The initial limper now leads out for 30. I put in the call. The other 2 players fold. 120 in, we see the turn card of a queen of hearts. He now checks. He has a small stack, has about $50, $60 left. I go ahead and put them all in. He makes the call. I tell him I have aces and show him, and he mucks his hand. So we had 3 limpers, and the button decides to put in a raise to 12. I look down at ace-5 of diamonds. I defend. The other limpers call, so we go 5 ways to a flop of queen, jack, 8, all diamonds. So we flop the nuts here. I go ahead and check and flow. gets checked around to the button who puts out a bet for 25. He has about 150 left in his stack. I go ahead and call. It gets folded around to a short stack, and he also just calls. Turn card comes 8 of clubs. I decide to check again. It gets checked around. So I'm now thinking that the person on the button doesn't have much at all. The river card comes as a 9 of clubs, puts a possible straight out there. So I go ahead and just lead, hoping that somebody has some sort of straight, or maybe think I'm doing this light and call me with a queen. I get a call from the short stack and show the flush. So the person in the hijack min raises to 6. In the cutoff, I raise to 26. The big blind and the hijack call. So we go 3 ways to a flop. And the flop is 4, 7, 5 with 2 spades. I do have the queen of spades. I think it's less likely they have a flush draw, but I'm going to lead here for 2/3 pot. I'm looking just to take this one down. I don't want to see any kind of middling cards come off, like a 6 or an 8. Make it difficult to play. They both end up folding, and I'm happy with the pot the way it is. I'm in the small blind with ace-queen offsuit. The button raises to 10. He's a very aggressive player. I played with him before. I decide to re-raise with my ace-queen, purely for value. He's playing a lot of junk hands, looking to hit flops cheaply. I decided that if it comes 2 big cards, no matter what they are, I was just going to put him to the test, and he quickly folds. So we end up cashing out $930-ish. It was a nice day. I'm glad to see the card rooms back open. Please let me know what you think about that hand that I had earlier with the pocket queens. I really appreciate your feedback. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate your support. I hope you enjoyed that. We got the totals for today right over here somewhere. And if you haven't liked and subscribed yet, please do so. It really helps out the channel. And we'll see you next time. Thanks again for watching.